is deliver.
Towson in black with the yellow helmets today. Luke Downs, veteran goalkeeper for them. He's a senior, played at Calvert Hall. He has had an outstanding run, a lot of games under his belt, Cart.
He's going to have his hands full today because Towson plays a pretty strong non-conference schedule early in the season. But these shooters from Princeton are different. They move the ball as well as any team in the country, and they're so slick in terms of shooting from the outside with guys like Makasi, Kabiri, and Palumbo.
In white for Princeton, we saw Ryan Croddick last week in the Ivy League tournament. He was outstanding.
He's a first-year starter taking over for Michael Jean Ficaro. He's 5th nationally in save percentage, and you talk about a breakout star from the goalie position nationally. That's your guy.
Great crowd here today, a class of 1952 stadium in Princeton, New Jersey, and we are about to get underway. It'll be Matt Constantinides taking the face-off for Towson, Andrew McMeekin for Princeton, and Princeton wins possession first. If you saw any of that Ivy League tournament that we had on ESPN last weekend, you saw a level of lacrosse, Clark, that was off the charts, and Princeton was a big part of it.
Buckle up against Cornell in the final 35 total goals. You had teams with 4-goal runs, 8-goal runs, and 10-goal runs.
Here's the midfielder, Wade, on the move. Here's Kabiri, we talked about in the open. He can score goals, and he can feed to goal scorers from X. Bonanno gets it to Wade, takes another step to the middle of the field, gets his hands free and scores.
With all the slick sticks, 19 in white. It's a little bit of an outlier. Watch the left-handed plant foot right here. How that creates so much space and increases his angle tenfold. Tucker Wade plants that left foot, gets the defender to bite. It's turn and rake for Towson.
The freshman Bonanno with the assist. And the crowd coming in here, filing in, just taking their seats on this day with less than a minute gone in this game. Something to cheer about. Procedure call going to go against Princeton, going a little early, so Constantinides gets his first win of the day, and we'll get a chance to see Towson 6v6.
A lot of attention on Weishar, 1 in black. Watch the rookie, Ronan Fitzpatrick, another left-handed player. He has been lighting it up as of late. He's the CAA Rookie of the Year, can create his own shot as well.
Bodie Maurer. That's Josh Weber, one of the captains of this team. Spinning back to his right, working on a shorty. They'll get it back to X. Fitzpatrick, you mentioned him. Loses his footing, gets it back. Puts his shoulder into a defender. The double is there, though, as Princeton showed. And he'll bring it up top. Still plenty of time to shoot. 25 seconds on the shot clock, so no need to panic if you're Chop Gallagher and this Towson team. Gallagher trying to get under his defender, but he has no angle. Weishar. Well defended. Gets it to his left and shoots it high. It'll stay with Towson with 7 to shoot.
You'll see Weishar operate so much in the top part of the offensive frame because he's a midfielder by trait. Got moved to attack after the Navy game.
Gallagher tries the bouncer. Croddick is there. Nice outlet pass to Miller. That was a thing of beauty. Here's Makasi. Uses a Miller pick. And now Miller will sub out. And Dunphy will come in. 48, full head of steam. Princeton will finish their substitutions by bringing in Brandon Saris, 36 in white. Dunphy has an angle. He shoots and scores. A dream start for the Princeton Tigers.
Dunphy being ultra aggressive, going to the rack, has struggled finding the back of the net, under 15% this season. He got away with one, though. He lands in the goal mouth. I'd be shocked if Sean Nadelin doesn't challenge this. You cannot land in the half circle in front of the crease, regardless if the ball crosses the plane before you land there or not. It is a rule. Fully expect Sean Nadelin to check this one out.
He is. That red flag is on the field. Challenged by Towson head coach Sean Nadelin. The crease is the outer circle. The goal mouth is the inner half circle, right in front of the goal.
The only time you can land in the goal mouth, that half circle, is if it's from defensive pressure. You're pushed from the rear. I didn't think there was any pressure from the Towson defense there. Dunphy gets the step. Ball crosses the plane before he enters the crease, but you see his whole right arm is in the goal mouth. That one's going to be taken back.
Our officials today, Tom Holen, Doug Donovan, Matt Radebaugh.
Yeah, I don't see the pressure there. It's a heck of a play by Dunphy. Probably should have left his feet a beat earlier.
The stick got hit. You can see that's why the shot just trickled in. It was interesting because he didn't have a whole lot on that shot, and he was still able to beat downs.
Yep. The goal mouth is there to protect goaltenders from a head-on collision. Here's the call.
Good call by our officiating crew upon review.
That would have been big for Dunphy, though, because he struggled this year in terms of hitting his shots. This is a team that's known for their shooters. Dunphy's got that first step to win the one-on-one matchups, to get his confidence early. For Matt Madelon and Jim Mitchell, the offensive coordinator, is huge. Contrasting styles, too, because I think when you look at Princeton, they're pretty balanced with right and left-handers. This Towson team, they got the two lefties and Weishauer and Fitzpatrick. The rest of this team offensively is pretty heavy right-handed, so it'll be interesting to see if Princeton scouts and forces to the weak left hand, specifically with the midfield.
Yeah, second midfield unit on right now for Coach Nadelin. Vienny, Boswell. Here's Matusek. And now back up top to Alex Vienny, junior from Merrick, New York. That's Boswell. Gets it back into his left, working on the shorty, Green. Nothing doing. Fitzpatrick trying to come upfield against Hunter Spiess. Spiess is glued to him. That's a tough angle shot. Couldn't get anything on it as he came upfield.
Really good defense, as you see. Spiess just gets into the bottom hand of Fitzpatrick. There's Coach Sean Nadelin. He's an All-American defender at Johns Hopkins. Actually coached here for Bill Tierney as an assistant in 2002, 2003, 2004. Went to 2 championship weekends.
Vienny fires it wide. It'll stay with Towson.
Nadelin was a heck of a player, too, back in the day. He actually played at Hopkins when my brother Brian was a goaltender. Nadelin was a defender, made Team USA. Just one of those guys, he doesn't have to say a lot, but you know he's tough as nails. He'll roll up the sleeves and get it done. And his team takes on that personality. They love being the underdog in this spot.
4-time Colonial Coach of the Year. He's taken this Towson Tiger team to the NCAA tournament on 7 different occasions, with 7 Colonial League titles in his 14 years there. That's unbelievable. That's a strong lacrosse conference.
You know what he always does, too? Early in the season, they take their lumps, right? They play a tough out-of-conference schedule. This year, they go 1-5 to start, then they win 10 straight. Yep. So he preps his team for moments like this.
This after at a 9-game winning streak last year in a run to the Colonial. So here's Weishauer. Checked by Colin Mulshine. This is a battle of titans here. 1 in black versus 43 in white. Now he checks it off to the shorty, though, so advantage 1. That shot was wide.
That's what they want. When you use the pick, you create the switch so he can get Mulshine, who could be a nuisance defending players. I think Mulshine's one of the most underrated defenders in the country.
Nice pick off by Jackson Green, and here he comes. He can fly. Still has it. Does a nice job to keep possession. Gets it to Burns. Burns to Kabiri.
You see that speed by Green? It's a wide receiver on the Princeton football team. That's what you call a punt return clear, end to end.
Bonanno. Nice adjustment by Kabiri. Wade gets it back to his right nicely and scores.
Princeton faithful loves it on a gorgeous day in central New Jersey. Starts with defense. Jackson Green with the pick. And then Tucker Wade once again gets his second of the afternoon. I love Tucker Wade's old school north-south dodging ability. In this Jim Mitchell offense, you see a lot of pairs on the side, and then you have this gunner who likes to create going right to the heart of the opposing team's defense, and he gives it a different look too. He's different than every other player where you see a lot of the slick wing players using picks. Tucker Wade doesn't need a pick.
Constantinides gets it into his teammate's stick. And that's something that Towson is going to have to do a lot of today with this potent offense for Princeton. They're going to have to win a lot of face-offs, limit Princeton offensively, and control the possessions. Even with that Dunphy goal taken off the board, Clark, Princeton has scored on both of their shots today. So very efficient early start and up 2 goals. That's Schreier. Didn't have much of a look, but Boswell gets it. Vienny looking to dodge on the shorty. Shoots, saved by Croddick. Right back into Boswell's stick, though. Can he do anything with it? And a lot of traffic. It's back down on the turf and picked up by Spiess.
That was a heck of a stop by Croddick. Saw the top hand speed there. Didn't even move his lower body.
Mackesy, watch out. He had the defender in the sub pattern coming in out of the box. Mackesy saw him in time, turned his back to him.
It's Princeton fan base waiting eagerly for Mackesy to hit the back of the net and be all along the top of the Princeton all-time goal scoring chart.
Bonanno loses his footing a bit, gets it back to Wade. There's Mackesy. Kabiri got his defender hung up. Now his defender comes around. Goalie comes out to meet him as well. Great pass inside. Can't do anything with it. Feet inside, behind the back, save made by Downs. Wade steps into it, fires. Downs again is there. And a big ground ball.
2 huge stops by Downs. And Tucker Wade beat Downs on his 2 goals down low. He tries to go high and mix it up, and Downs had none of that. Look at the stop by Downs. The first one's the BTB by the freshman Bonanno. And for a goalie to make that second stop on Wade, after Wade shoots low his 2 previous shots and scores, if a goalie, you're thinking low again. He goes high, and beautiful stop.
Chop Gallagher putting his back into the defender. Trying to roll to his left. Beautiful job with the double team. Princeton, and they come out of there with it again. Spiess with a GB. But he turns it over almost in midfield, and it looks like he's going to anyways as it rolls past 2 defenders. And they'll be back to Towson.
That was a good call by the officials. First, it looked like it might have been a tip. Towson gets the ball, but you saw Gallagher kind of run into trouble there. They're a predominantly right-handed team outside of their 2 stars, 1 and 29, Fitzpatrick and Weishar. The two-handedness allows you to have the ability to escape those double teams a little easier.
That's Gallagher. Got an interesting midfield when you think about it. Chop Gallagher from Portland and Bodie Maurer from Kirkland, Washington, just outside the Seattle area. How about Croddick? He's gotten off to a strong start this afternoon. On the run, it's Kramer. How about that shot? Heat from Coulter Mackesy, but just off target.
He's got the heat, and you know what I love about Coulter? When I spent time with him this season, He's telling me how he likes to shoot wherever he catches the ball. If it's a bad pass, he catches it low, stays at that level. High pass, he'll shoot high. Croddick, as you saw left side of the screen, he's heating up like he has all season.
Mackesy on the run, head up. Get it to Burns. Cameron. Got to the middle of the field, but good help by Towson defensively. Mackesy, after the defense recovers, couldn't get it on Cage. Burns trying to pick up the shot near the end line. Great ground ball by Towson. That's Joe Petro. Battled near the end line for. Now can they keep possession? They'll be able to clear it.
Petro's the best ground ball guy outside of Konstantinidis. Leads the team in non-face-off ground balls. He's a 4.0 student in pre-med.
Wow.
It's above your pay grade and mine.
Yes,
Maybe not
in
you.
every aspect. The GPA, the major, everything about it. Also leads this team in caused turnovers.
He's had an amazing season. First team all-conference, 40 in black.
Second midfield unit getting a lot of run here for Coach Nadal, and that's Matusek. Croddick is there, though, shuts the door.
Seems like Towson's getting some decent looks, but not able to close the deal. Like right there, I thought there could have been another extra step to increase the angle. Got something here, Cotter.
On the move, shot, score! Matusek puts the Tigers on the board. They've got a nice crowd here that's made the trip from Baltimore.
Matusek, if it doesn't work the first time, try again. It's a scramble. A blown clear. Again in 94, alongside some of the greats and David Morrow, and then that 96, 97, 98 run was Hess, Hubbard, and Massey, maybe the greatest attack unit in the last 30, 40 years, and Coulter Mackesy looking to break Jesse Hubbard's all-time goal record. And then you fast forward, in 2001, they win it with Ryan Boyle and Ryan Mollett. Just incredible talent, but also teams that just mesh together. Like they all had the pieces to the puzzle. Unbelievable build by Bill Tierney, because before 1992, to be quite honest with you, they were at the basement of the Ivy League.
Nobody had ever even heard of Princeton Lacrosse, and then they were stacking championships with Bill Tierney. 1,000 career face-off wins for Matt Konstantinidis. Congratulations, he has had a heck of a career, and now he's got his Towson team with a little momentum here in this game.
The best in history in terms of winning face-offs, but also ground balls too. He's been a warrior. Coach Sean Nadalin says him taking care of his body Monday through Friday is critical. I mean, 4 years of that pounding.
Yes. No question about it. Weishauer. Double team comes. That's a good skip pass, but he couldn't find it. Matusek still can't find it.
This matchup, Colin Mulshine and Mikey Weishauer, this is a big-time matchup. Mulshine has been terrific in his 4 years, covering some of the best, the CJ Kurse of the world, and so many marquee matchups. I just don't think he gets the credit he deserves. One of the best compliments I could say about his game is it's pretty vanilla. He doesn't take the risks, but he's always in the right position at the right time, and he can cover the big body or the quicker guy.
Towson's done a really nice job on the ride, creating chaos. In this case, they force the turnover, and they get it right back on the offensive end.
Princeton, when we had them last week up in Ithaca for the Ivy Championship, showed a lot of zone on defense. Today, it's been strictly man. I think Coach Matt Madon wants his team to get their confidence back in terms of the one-on-one defense.
Second midfield again with Vianney. Working on Kramer, now back upfield. Weishauer to the far side, Chop Gallagher. Puts shoulder into a defender, nothing doing. Schreier. Gets it over to Maurer. Maurer working on the shorty. Gallagher shoots right into the stick of Croddick. Once again, Jackson Green.
That's too easy for Croddick. The way he's developed in terms of his confidence and his technique and his positioning, when he's staring down a shot, when it's not off a ball movement, from 10, stick side, good luck.
I want to remind everybody, the Division I Men's Lacrosse Championship continues next week on ESPN Network's 4 quarterfinal games. For more info, go to ncaa.com, your official online home for 90 NCAA championships. Final minute of this first period. Nate Kabiri's working on the shorty. Joe Meidling, probably their best short stick D midi, but he's got his hands full here. Now the help comes. Mackesy shoots and scores! That's the record breaker.
'91. You're all alone at the top. The best to ever do it in terms of hitting the back of the net in this storied program's history. That's 164 vintage Coulter Mackesy form. Catch, release, and annihilate a corner. The great Jesse Hubbard, I mentioned, part of those championship run in 96, 97, and 98. Coulter Mackesy is only chasing that now, the titles. He's got the goal record. Thing of beauty, Cotter. He is about as an elite of a shooter as you will find, and that's why he was the 4th overall pick in the PLL draft this past week by the Boston Cannons, because they want that left-handed gunslinger to get his feet set, and you put him alongside an Asher Nolting, who's one of the best passers in the pro league, and a right-handed player in Marcus Holman. You talk about a unit.
Standing ovation from the crowd here. They knew it. Mackesy tries to get another one on short order. Misses, but it stays with Princeton. 27.5 in this first quarter.
You know who passed the ball to him, too? Nate Kabiri. Those two.
What a connection.
Yeah, what a connection. If anyone could make that pass to him, I think that's who he would have chosen.
Kabiri taking advantage of the fact that he had a shorty on him. Was able to find 91 with some space. Oh, what a score on the goal, on the run by Colin Burns. Burns says, all right, 291, you're getting involved in the action. Let me get some myself.
We talk about a connection with Kabiri and Mackesy. How about the connection with Burns and Kabiri? High school teammates, both sophomores, 2-year starters. I love Kabiri's vision today. He's finding seams and understands where his teammates are going to be, so they're shot ready. And I love how Burns catches that ball and immediately starts his dodge right off of the catch. A lot of players will catch, recalibrate, and set up their dodge, but if you can catch and start your dodge as you're catching the ball, it's so difficult for a defender to close the gap.
8.3 to go in this first quarter. Ground ball picked up by Princeton. The shot rattles off a defender. Harmlessly bounces to a Towson Tiger. Late flurry in that first quarter. Sees Matt Madelon's club with 2 goals in 36 seconds extend their advantage to 3 after 1. Up in Albany.
And it's the perfect fit for him with Nolting and Holman as attack line mates. They complement each other so well. Coulter Mackesy alongside Jesse Hubbard. Generational type talents as shooters. Jesse Hubbard played in the same era I did. He actually ended my season in 1996, their first of 3 titles for that group. Just an amazing right-handed shooter. And loved the same type of wing spots that Coulter Mackesy likes on the left-handed side. And just their shooting stroke's a thing of beauty too, like effortless. That's what kind of defines his stroke.
Nice job by Sam Moore, and again causing a turnover on the ride. And Schreier opts to pull it out here and get it to Mikey Weishauer. Gonna get a call here. Looks like this might be offside against Princeton, so a delayed call. We'll see our first man up of the day, and it's gonna be Towson with the opportunity. Unless they score here. Once you're offside in college lacrosse, you might as well stay offside. That keeps 7 defenders on the field along with the goaltender. Maurer, upfield. Passing to Fitzpatrick, got free momentarily. Weber. Nice job defensively. Weber stays with it though and keeps possession. Schreier. Here's Fitzpatrick. Princeton looks buttoned up defensively. They do have an extra defender out there, so it certainly would appear that way. Weishauer fires it lefty. Tried to fool Croddick with the bouncer. Nothing doing. Now let's get the call.
Hey, we're going to need the in-home. White, illegal procedure. Too many men on the field. In-home 0 will serve it. It's 30 seconds. We go to 60. We need 0 in here. In-home, in-home, in-home.
Towson's extra man unit. It's done quite well in 2025, 42%, 17th nationally. The 2 big shooters are 29 in black and 1 in black, both left-handed players, so when you put them on the wings, one on a lower wing and one on a higher wing, it forces a 2-on-1. The issue is, for them, with all those right-handed players, does Princeton overcompensate and kind of dare Towson to go to that opposite side?
That's Weishauer. Fitzpatrick. That's Mitchell Katz, 53, man-up specialist for Towson. They get it inside to him, and he finishes.
When we had a conversation with Sean Nadelin this week, I mentioned Mikey Weishauer's passing. Because on tape, it's so snappy, and the release is lightning, and it gets to the backside. Look at that pass, how he threads it to the backside. For Katz is just sitting there knowing that you have to be prepared when you have an elite passer at the top portion of the extra man. Look at a headshot of Katz. He looks like he could be in 9th grade, right? Fountain of youth. Keep it rolling, Michael.
McMeekin runs it down. I mean, 32 in white is a physical specimen.
Oh, yeah. He's on the Cotter list, right? You're going to do a tour one year of going to all the different lacrosse schools in the weight room and find those warriors. He's one of them.
Although his efforts go for naught, is another turnover for Princeton. Towson's getting opportunities because Princeton keeps giving him the ball in the middle of the field.
That's a great call there, Cotter. There's some blown clears by the Tigers. 5 blown clears. I mean, that has to clean up. If you are Matt Madelon, you're not happy about that. That's the reason why Towson's still in this game.
Yep. Boswell on green. It's hard to run away from him. Gets the shot on goal. Race for it at the end line. Just won by Towson. It's good hustle by Ronan Fitzpatrick. Looking to play a little 2-man game here with Vienny. Instead, he comes upfield. Spies is all over him. He gets a shot off, though, and scores. Just gets by Croddick.
I always like to describe a lefty goal line extended type shooter as a player that can get a shot off without a clean break. It's timing the checks. Look how Fitzpatrick times these checks. Once he understands that he has some freedom with his hands, it's go time. 40th of the season for the rookie. He's had an incredible freshman campaign.
Towson in 2017, some of the runs they've had in postseason play. This wasn't that long ago. They got all the way to the semifinals, Cart.
They did. First round upset against Towson. Joe Sider and crew. Alex Woodall in the quarterfinals, winning those face-offs against Syracuse. Joe Sider with one of the best shots I've ever seen in 2017, like a Coulter Mackesy corner. There's Ryan Drenner. The team met Ohio State champ weekend in the semifinal and just fell short. Buckeyes eventually lose to Maryland and give John Tillman his first national title.
You talk about the PLL and some of the players that Towson has put into that league, the Colby Bars, Colby Smith, Zach Goodrich, Alex Woodall, who you mentioned, Ryan Drenner, who we just saw. It's been a pipe.
Great pros, great pros.
That one out of bounds. Yeah, the official right on it. Princeton ball.
Tell you, in the middle of the field, from restraining line to restraining line, Towson's playing cleaner. 6 for 6 clearing the ball. Princeton 6 for 11.
You said it right, and you know Coach Madelon knows it. They got to clean that up in a hurry. Kabiri. Goalie comes out to meet him. Here's Palumbo, waiting for him to explode. Doesn't have an angle, gets it back to Kabiri. They swing it to the far side. Palumbo. Slide comes down the alley. Kabiri. Here's Mackesy again. Palumbo looking to work GLE. Now he comes upfield against the shorty. Back to his right, now his left. You see the help comes. They know how dangerous he's been of late. Almost forcing the turnover.
He's got to get rid of that quicker. He had Bonanno parked on that lower left side by the pipe.
Burns, good look inside, but Palumbo couldn't finish it. Wade can.
He's got a hat trick. The sophomore sensation, Tucker Wade. This is his third goal. That was a beautiful initial pass by Burns. Wade picks it up. One thing about Wade is when you watch him and try to scout him, there's really no tendencies in his shot. Typically, he just shoots the ball hard, and it's hard to understand when he has a sidearm release where he's going. If he has an overhand release, he's one of those shooters, I say, I'm not sure he knows where he's shooting the ball. Therefore, the goalie has no clue. There's no pattern in his game, which is a great compliment.
First shot taken by Princeton here in this second quarter, and it finds the back of the net. Princeton is this time able to pick up the GB and clear it to Miller. Now Kabiri on Spagnoli. Dunphy to Mackesy. Clock ticking to 10 minutes left to go in this first half. Turnovers, especially in the clearing game, have plagued Princeton in this game, and it's why Towson's still in it. But we have certainly seen this Princeton offense look sharp. Kabiri now. Mackesy from X. Dunphy could pass inside. Saris can't beat Downs.
That's a big one.
So is this. Burns, look at that ride. Forcing the turnover. Trouble here. Downs makes the save, though, as Mackesy gets dumped.
Mackesy got pounded.
Officials talking it over. Now the flag comes out. And it was Elijah Smith who they're waving over. He's going to wait till he gets the official call from the officials.
Free clear, going to man up to 30. Yes. Technical foul, illegal procedure, 91 white, lost the helmet with black in possession. That's going to be a 30-second technical. 91 black, illegal procedure, lost the helmet with black in possession, 30-second technical.
So the thinking there is that it wasn't caused by the hit.
Here's Mackesy.
Illegal hit anyways.
He loses the helmet. I mean, that's just unfortunate. What's he supposed to do there? The rule is intended so players have their helmets
securely
fastened. Yes.
So Petro's hit was not illegal. That was what I was looking at first, and that's why the flag didn't come out at first.
At first, I thought they threw the flag and then they were going to review it.
Yes. Instead, it was a legal hit, and Mackesy's helmet came off during a legal hit, so that had no implication on it.
People watching at home are probably saying, what's Mackesy supposed to do? Like I said, the rule's intended so the helmet is put on tight and does not fall off due to a hit.
30-second man up for Towson. Here's Katz again. He scored on the last man up. Good look inside. They get another one here. Chop! And it's once again a one-goal advantage for Princeton. Towson is just hanging in there here in the first half.
When the helmet fell off, Towson possesses the ball, so it's a 30-second penalty. And once again, it's the beautiful dime-like pass by Mikey Weishauer to the senior all-conference player, Chop Gallagher. I like how Chop kept his shoulders high and his head high. And then just a flick of the wrist, that hard, quick, aggressive follow-through inside to can that shot. You know, a lot of players, when they're inside, they don't want to shoot the ball hard. It's not about the velocity, but the release. If you shoot the ball hard, the top of your stick moves faster. It's harder for the goalie to react. I love how he did that.
Meekin wins another. Now, can they do anything with the possession? That's been their issue. Green will run it to Daylight and get it to Kabiri.
This is a team that hangs around. If you watch them year over year, you put Sean Nadalin in a corner and ask his team to fight. This is what happens. They believed when they got on the bus from Baltimore, Maryland, that they could win this game. No question about it.
Burns. Kabiri far side up top to Wade, already has a hat trick.
Here we go.
They're in a zone defense now, mixing it up, Nadalin, giving his team a little breather and a different look for the Princeton offense to deal with the zone.
Hit the pipe. Right to Morin. And he'll clear it himself. Schreier to the goal, tough angle. I think he hit the pipe as well.
Shire was in the crease.
And they want to get the ball all the way back here.
That's the right call.
Yeah, to start play again. You see the official signaling for Dunphy to come on back. Now they'll let it go.
Interested to see what Towson does defensively. If they stay in that zone, that prior possession, or they go, man, I wouldn't go zone too long against this team because they specialize in wing shooting and moving the ball. I like it as a change of pace and to throw them off a little bit and make them think. But if you stay in this zone long against this offense, I think it actually is an advantage for them.
Mackesy.
Those are the type of shots you're going to let up when you're playing zone against Princeton. Like, how do you want to deal with these wing shooters? Mackesy on the left, Kabiri on the right.
And Cameron up top. That shot was deflected into Downs' cross.
So that's 2 consecutive defensive stops with the zone.
That's a tough pass right there. Towson got away with it, at least for now. still with possession in Boswell. Check it, that was Tusek, scored a goal earlier in the day. Here's Weishaupt.
This is the marquee matchup.
There's Boswell. On Miller. Good swim move, and a goal! Vieni beats Kradek. We're all knotted up at 5.
What? That's what he's saying. What now? Only his 8th of the season. That is great recognition on the pick and roll, and then the swim move. This is a gorgeous move. Gets the defender to bite. Whoop! Right back to the middle of the field to increase the angle, which you need on a goaltender with a wide base like Kradek. When you get back to the middle of the field, there's so much more net to look at. Vieni making it count.
Race for it. You're not going to beat Green on a race like that. Now what's the call? Going to go against Princeton. Now they're going to, wait, are they going to switch it up?
Oh, no,
both officials are pointing in 2 different directions. They're going to clear it up.
That's Doug Donovan.
The loose ball push. It's going to go against Towson. See Coach Madelon on the sideline signaling to his assistants. It's all good.
At 4-1, when we had a break, you and I off air were saying this could be dicey for Towson. And they had the counter punch. Like, they did not back down at that moment. At 4-1, we were thinking, oof, against this offense?
Because Princeton was shooting themselves in the foot at that time. If they cleaned up those turnovers, it could have been 8-1 in a hurry. Instead, Towson goes on the run, and we're all tied at 5. Bonanno gets it back, looking to skip, but no one was open. Just probing here. Palumbo. Wade shoots and scores. Good ball movement.
That's the thing with the zone defense. Princeton will be patient enough to find the right shot, to create seams in this Towson defense. And that is an outstanding one more pass by Bonanno, who might have had a shot, but he knew when he kicked it back to the top, that's the look they wanted, with a hot hand and Tucker Wade in his 4th of the day.
Princeton has won all 6 faceoffs in this quarter. McMeekin really asserting his dominance. Get another violation going against Towson.
If you look at McMeekin's year, he really struggled. First third of the season, he was in the mid-30s percent-wise in terms of winning. But as of late, we liked his play in the Ivy tournament. He's got the experience. When it comes to the NCAA tournament, he's so good off the ground too, and fighting and scrapping. Even when he loses the face-off, he could win the battle.
Tough angle there, even for Mackesy, that was tough. Although he can hit that shot. He can hit a shot from below goal line extended, as we saw in that piece you did with him.
Yeah, his shooting is ridiculous. There's no such thing as no angle.
Good pass to Dunphy. There's that one extra one. And he finds a corner. It's Sean Cameron. Looks like that's the blueprint here to beat this zone, Card.
Remember when I told you I liked zone for a couple possessions, but not long-term against Princeton because of the ball movement, the selflessness, and the one more. That's 2 goals in a row from the same exact spot. They are finding the sweet spot. They're attacking from below goal line extended, kicking to the wing, and then the one more. That's a carbon copy goal that Cameron scored from the Wade previous goal. I think you got to get out of that zone. This team, outside of Wade, is not like the heaviest dodging up top type of offensive threat. They thrive off of ball movement. They thrive off of shots with low angles, and then the one more. They love to play hot potato, and that allows a team to get comfortable against the zone.
Towson had to go with Kai Lopez on that draw. Same result.
They're back in man. This is the right call.
Palumbo trying to get things going against the short. That's a good look, and Burns finishes.
So much interchanging with the offense. Palumbo is a midfielder, but he loves to attack from behind and maximize the short stick matchups because he knows a slide's coming. He knows when he has a short stick, Towson's on red alert and they want to support the matchup. So he's playing that set like he wants to dodge, but he knows in the back of his mind his greatest threat is a passer because of the slide that Towson is going to present. His eyes are up knowing that Burns will be all alone parked in front of the cage.
Sean Adelin wants a timeout. That man, Luke Downs, has been under siege here with 3 goals given up in the last minute and 17 seconds, and Princeton has forged that lead back out to 3. Just getting underway here in the NCAA Division I Men's Championship. First round action today and tomorrow, 4 games on each day. Here's the bottom half of the bracket. Still got Duke and Georgetown. That's the nightcap tonight on ESPNU, and those other 2 games, Syracuse, Harvard, Maryland Air Force, will be tomorrow on ESPNU. As we look at the top half of the bracket, already won in the books. How about Richmond today? The Spiders with a big win at North Carolina to advance to the quarters next week at Hempstead.
Unbelievable win for Dan Shamati and the Spiders. Just started lacrosse at the Division I level in 2014. That's their first ever NCAA tournament win. Unbelievable second half. They outscored the Heels 11-5 in the second half. Lucas Littlejohn with 4 goals. But what a day for the Richmond Spiders. I mean, just 11 years ago, they start Division I lacrosse, and Dan Shamati is about as good of a coach as any. You look at what they do, too. A lot like Towson, they schedule the big boys in non-conference play. Richmond always plays Maryland in the regular season, Virginia and Duke. They played Cornell this year, so they're battle-tested.
Yep.
So when they get to a spot like this, they feel like they belong. It was validated today.
You also saw in that bracket coming up next, Colgate will try and spring the surprise on the road at Penn State. You're going to have their clicker handy because that game's going to be on ESPN too.
And Colgate will bring it. They have the Connor brothers, Liam and Rory.
And they're hot.
Yes.
Just won the Patriot League.
150 points combined by the 2. Sounds like they're from the Emerald Isle, right?
Does. They won the Patriot by winning 3 games in a 5-day stretch. Another face-off win. And another goal. Kabiri.
This is his spot. And what I love so much, a lot like Coulter Mackesy, from this same spot I've seen 3-quarter releases, I've seen underhands, and I've seen direct over the tops like this rip. Nate Kabiri, some of the smoothest hands in college lacrosse, just pounds that opposite corner. On a right-handed goalie, where do you want to shoot? Win it out front in McMeekin. Time, room, some bullseye.
Flamethrower from Nate Kabiri. Now everyone getting involved. And on very short notice here. Princeton's won 10 faceoffs in a row. Clark, they have 4 goals in 1:23. This is what
we saw that last week. We saw that last week. They went on an 8-1 run against Cornell. Now, the flip side is they allow some runs too. Cornell went on a 4-1 run in that game and a 10-1 run. So Towson is not out.
Yeah, we saw it even earlier today with Towson. They scored 3 out of 4 to tie this game at 5 apiece. And this is how they've done it really all day long. They're creating turnovers even when they lose faceoffs in the middle of the field.
And last week against Cornell, you felt like during some of these runs, all right, they're going to put Cornell away. But they just allowed the Big Red to claw back in this, a lot like that first run by Towson.
Yep, how can Towson now match it? Down 4. It's their largest deficit of the day.
I like some action from behind the cage coming up the left wing with Weishauer or Fitzpatrick, the 2 lefties who can create.
That's Fitzpatrick right there. On Spiess, who's just covered him like a glove all day long. Tried to sneak that one in the far corner.
You know, Spiess is much bigger than Fitzpatrick.
6'2", 200 pounds.
Fitzpatrick's 165, but he's not getting thrown around at all on goal line.
Here he comes again upfield. This time he shoots and scores. This time, carbon copy, but he was able to beat Craddock on that shot.
6'2", 200. Matching up against 5'11", $165, soaking wet. But he wins the leverage game here. Does such a good job of putting that right elbow in. Watch the right elbow. The right elbow kind of chicken wings his way past Spiess and just increases his angle. Fitzpatrick's a dog, man. That kid is tough as nails. I was watching him on tape, and he does not back down from matchups.
41 on the season. We've just gone under 3 minutes to play in this first half. Talk about runs. Can Towson put one together? McMeekin wants to ensure that they don't. He'll shoot and score!
I'm seeing all this unfold before my very eyes. The last goal for Princeton was McMeekin out front to Kabiri. So right now, Towson's too concerned with the point man. They don't go to McMeekin. So he makes them pay. Because the prior time he kicked it to Kabiri because they slid and stopped his forward motion. But that just tells you he is not your typical just face off, get off. He will make you pay if you don't pick him up, and that was gorgeous recognition of an offense that could beat you out front on a face-off wing with the face-off specialist scoring, and then the prior possession, when they come to him and stop him, he kicks it to the sharpshooter. So the question is, what do you do if you're Towson in that spot? They proved both of those theories very difficult.
Coach Madelon calls the timeout. Now he's out of timeouts in this first half.
Towson has to figure out a way to get possession. You know, we talk about these runs, but McMeekin has been owning the face-off X. And by owning the face-off X, Towson's not able to get into a flow. They have the goal scorers. They've found ways to score goals.
Yep.
It's a team that averages 12 a game. They're halfway to it, and we're not even at halftime. They've been efficient offensively, but Towson is struggling to deal with that guy right there. He is strangling Konstantinidis in terms of his ability to get his team the ball to create a run.
11 face-off wins in a row now and counting for Princeton. And goals off of those face-off wins instead of turnovers like we saw earlier in the game.
And that's the problem. Those are like 2-for-1s, right? So if I'm Towson, the way that I deal with this, McMeekin's not just winning the face-off, he's winning it out front. So you need to hedge a little bit and think about stopping that break. How do you do that? You put your pole in there and you run your pole almost like you hedge McMeekin kicking it out front. Have him meet him, right? Don't go for the ball. Run towards the offensive restraining box of Princeton's to stop that break.
Junk it up a little bit.
Yes, you have to mix things up.
lead is 4, matching the largest lead of the game for Princeton. This time the violation goes against McMeekin. And now Towson's got to find a way to answer. It'd be huge to get one back here, at least one back here in the final 2.5 minutes of this first half.
Catch your breath a little bit, though, if you're Towson. Use some of the clock. You've played a ton of defense. 11 goals this quarter combined by both of these teams.
Looks like they may have saved the possession that time after a bad pass. Picked up by Matusek. Here's Vianney. Scored a brilliant goal moments ago. Shoots this one too high. Fitzpatrick backs it up, though. 38 to shoot. Again, working on Spies. Got by him and scored!
You and I cover the PLL in the summer, and we covered Connor Fields when he was at Albany. About the same weight, 165 pounds, and you constantly ask, why is he winning bully ball? They lull defenders to sleep. They want defenders. Fitzpatrick wants Spies to get really physical. And then he times the pushes. And then he's so slippery. That is a masterclass for an undersized attacker winning the leverage game against a big boy. Like, beg him to want to get into your body. Then you time those thrusts, and that's when you get really slippery. And then as he's doing that, Towson's doing a fantastic job, Chris, of clearing out and giving him that space in front of the cage to increase his angle.
Palumbo up top. That's Bonanno. Burns. Quickly to Wade. He's been the offensive star and a half of offensive stars for Princeton. He's got 4 goals, 19 in white. Kabiri steps into it, bounces it home.
We talk about sharpshooters. When he got the pass from McMeekin, it was a high release to a high shot. This time it's a high release to a bouncer from almost the same exact release point. But at the last second, he changes the levels. Nate Kabiri is so smooth as a shooter. You look at the wings for Princeton. Oh, you got the all-time leading goal scorer in school history on the left wing, and Coulter Mackesy. That's the dude on the right wing who just absolutely crushes it.
McMeekin, this time the extra pass, and Downs makes the save. Burns couldn't beat him. Final minute, watch out here.
Find the hot hand, give it to 29 in black. He's got 3 goals on 5 shots, but more importantly, his 3 goals are all unassisted. He's winning his matchup. He doesn't need someone else to give him the ball. He's creating his own offense.
Coach Nadalin wants to call his final timeout here in the first half. Can't take it with you. Down 4, 50.6 remaining. We've already seen one seeded team go down today. Richmond was able to beat North Carolina on the road. Will we see another one this afternoon here at Sherrod Field? Let's look back. We've done a job of that today here, Clark. And think about these two teams met back in 2001 semifinals.
Yeah, this was a doozy.
First of all, I want you to look at the uniforms. Awesome. And a muddy track. Look at Boyle here. Boyle tried to fake the push in the back.
Boyle.
Didn't get the call. Nope. Instead, we go the other way, and Brad Reppert finishes.
ties it up. How about, though, the winning goal? Look at Ryan Maud, who was the first pick in the MLL draft in the Pro League that year. Behind the cage with a long pole. Playing offense. Feeds Hartofelis for the game winner. Sean Hartofelis was a left-handed, almost like out of the mold of a Nate Kabiri, right? So smooth. I remember talking to Mollet about that goal. He tried to tell me Tierney wanted him dodging with a long pole behind the cage. I don't know about that, but he closed the deal for the Tigers, and Princeton went on to win the national championship 2 days later when our boy Ryan Boyle found his mate BJ Prager on the crease to get it past Rob Mulligan to beat Syracuse for the 2001 national title, and that's the last time Princeton's won a title. They have 6. That's the last one.
You think about this Princeton team, look at them in the last 3 years. 3 years ago, they made it all the way to championship weekend, right? Without even having made the Ivy League tournament. Now, the last 2 years, they had to win the Ivy League tournament really to secure a spot in the NCAA tournament, and they did. But then they maybe ran out of gas a little bit with all that effort and lost in the first round the last 2 years.
That's why this game's so critical, right? This is the next step for this team right now to get over the hump. So you got the matchup, Weishire.
Shot clock, irrelevant. And Weishauer just wants to burn a little clock here, so Towson will have the final opportunity here in this first half.
He's their guy, but Fitzpatrick, Conference Rookie of the Year, Weishauer Player of the Year in the CAA, can own a matchup, and they use the two of them in the pick game.
Mulshine back on him, though, up top, on the run. Couldn't get much on it. Croddick with the save. Now, can Princeton strike early? They cannot. They turn it over again. Towson with just a few seconds.
Got to push.
Shot deflected off of Green, and that'll be it. Exciting first half here at Princeton. We thought we were going to get it, and we got it. Princeton does an outstanding job of holding the lead in the second half, and they'll take that lead right now by 4 goals into the locker room. Another game of runs for the Tigers, the Princeton Tigers, both Tigers that is. Princeton's run, though, at the end, enabling them to forge this advantage. Hoping to get a chance to talk with Matt Madelon here momentarily as the two teams make their way to the locker rooms. He's making his way up to the headset.
Look at the crowd. What a crowd.
Beautiful day as well. Coach Madelon joins us right now on the set. Coach Kark and I here in the booth. First of all, that first half, I felt like Towson stayed.
Balls in those 6 games. The last 9.5, he's got 77 ground balls, and now he's well over 50% during that range. And for the year now, it bumps him at almost 51%. So it's almost like 2 seasons for McMeekin. But the second season, it's the right time for the Tigers. They need him.
That's the most important season, and we're in it right now in tournament play. You can see Constantinides just 3 of 17 on the day. It has been a struggle for the Towson faceoff man, and just as I say that, they win possession here to start this second half. That's going to be it, and it's a turnover, man. Now it's their turn to not take advantage of winning the faceoff, a rare faceoff win for the Towson
And that's
Tigers.
where they were clean. So you win that faceoff, you do all that hard work for nothing.
Wade, huge first half with 4 goals. Set the tone for Princeton early. Movement to Wade up top. Mackesy.
Towson now in a zone.
Again. Gets away from Kabiri initially, tracks it down. That quick, precise ball movement really hurt this zone in the first half for Princeton. There it is again. Tic-tac-toe passing, and the freshman Peter Bonanno puts it home for the Princeton Tigers, their largest lead of the day now, 5 goals.
I don't love zone against this team. They specialize in hot potato. The ball flies out of sticks. They love assisted goals. So you allow McAsee just stand back there, uncontested. It's just a matter of time where they're going to send multiple cutters. And it also gave Jim Mitchell and his offensive staff like an opportunity at halftime to address the zone because they saw it in the first half. This is a really hard team to zone. They have the sharpshooters on the wing. They can throw through passes. And when you give a guy like McAsee all that time behind, it's just cherry picking.
So why stay with it? I mean, if now they're proving that it's going to be costly, why is a coach, Sean Adelin, with an absolute ton of experience, has forgotten more about defense than you and I will ever dream about? Why is he sticking with it?
Well, Tucker Wade had his way with unassisted goals in the first half, dodging from the midfield. They showed some zone in the second quarter. I didn't mind the show. I would have liked to see him come out and man and then sprinkle in zone at like one possession at a time, not multiple possessions in a row or starting the second half in zone because they were expecting zone.
Right. Fitzpatrick wraps it around. He continues his hot play from the first half. Gets one back for Towson.
This kid is money. Absolute flair. What a move by Ronan Fitzpatrick. His ability to get to the rack, you know him as a lefty, so he keeps it in his strong hand with that shovel shot. Doesn't have to use his right hand. He's got the leverage and stuffs it in. Jack Stahl was on them. They actually changed that matchup. It was Spiess in the first half who he beat for 3 goals. It doesn't matter who's guarding him right now. Whether it's Spiess or Stahl, they're not going to put Molshine on him right now because they're too worried about Weishauer, who's the conference player of the year and one of the best offensive players in the country. So they're trying multiple defenders on Fitzpatrick, and no one can stop him.
All 4 of his goals have been unassisted on the day. And this has been a very typical happenstance here in the middle of the field. Somebody wins the face-off, but then it's nearly turned over. In this particular case, Princeton was able to pick up the GB.
And I love that last one by Fitzpatrick when everyone's shading him as a lefty, right? Daring him to go up right-handed goal line extended and go upfield with his offhand. He says, okay, I'll keep it in my left hand. I'm just going to hit you with the backhand shovel.
Back to man for Towson. McAsee loses his footing initially. Going against a shorty. He had to love that matchup, but he gives it up. They'll spin it around to Kabiri. McAsee now at X again. Just didn't like his angle. Burns likes it better, but the extra pass to Cameron, too high.
That's too much space. You cannot give Cameron or any of these sharpshooters all that time and room. They will make you pay.
12 to shoot. Dunphy. McAsee is going to have to make it happen on his own. Has no angle. Kabiri shoots. That's enough of an angle for him. Just as the shot clock was winding down.
Ouch! How about the accuracy? The ball movement to understand where your shooters are. McAsee holds on to that ball for another beat because he gets the defense kind of guessing. Wow! Are you kidding me?
Great camera work by our crew as well.
Yes, Nate. Flick of the wrist. Shoot the arrow. Hammer the corner. But what I was saying there, Cotter, is like McAsee knew that he had that defender on Kabiri kind of in no man's land. Like, was he going to help McAsee or was he going to press out to Kabiri? And once he had him kind of in the middle ground, that's when he made that pass.
McMeekin too quick that time with the violation. Princeton has been so efficient offensively, shooting the rock. 8 goals in their last 10 shots, Cart.
That's a team you don't want to zone, right? Like, they're giving you every reason why you don't want to zone a team that has sharpshooters. Like, dare them to beat you. Yeah, Tucker Wade beat you off the dribble.
Product too good. Look at the quick outlet, Miller. He shows his speed. He lets it rip and scores!
Starts with a save. Jackson Green showed you a punt return clear earlier in this game. Now it's Cooper Miller's time. Muller just flies out. That's confidence of goalie too. Like, you know that your goalie's gonna make that save and you fly out at the same time. It's the timing of goalie catching the ball and you're flashing out to be an outlet. How about the athletes in the middle of the field that are part of the quick transition clearing? Jackson Green, now Cooper Muller.
This time Kobe Ginder is guilty of the violation. 2 straight going against Princeton. The lead is 6. This is the largest of the game now for Princeton.
That's like a unit no one's talking about, right? They're short stick D middies. They're bringing it.
And Towson in a little bit of trouble here. This is a dangerous moment in this game. They're still within striking distance, but they can get out of it in a hurry. Weishauer's been completely held in check until now. He's got to get going somehow, some way, Clark.
He has as a passer in the first half. Now he's creating with his own offense off the dribble. This is a big-time move by Mikey Weishauer. And this is why you can't put anyone else on him. That's their top defender. The top defender is Colin Mulshine. He's got the assignment of defending Mikey Weishauer. So that's why you can't take Mulshine off of him and put him on Fitzpatrick, because you have to deal with this guy. This guy's lethal when he gets going.
Going to get a loose ball violation going against Towson, or against Princeton, I should say. So Towson ball.
What I liked about that last possession when Weishauer scored was it allowed him to use the front of the cage. I mentioned earlier, he's a midfielder. He played midfield primarily his first 2 years at Towson. He was a midi in high school. They put him at attack early in the season after the Navy loss to give this unit some pop and combine him with Fitzpatrick. But allowing him to sweep up top, like, that's his natural habitat.
Yenny gets free. He scores! Here come the Towson Tigers.
This is what I was talking about. Princeton has allowed teams to go on some runs. First it's Weishauer, now it's Vienny, and Vienny's had a couple of nice takes today for goals. Look at the placement against Croddick. Just beats Croddick to that lower corner with some heat and beautiful accuracy. Vienny played his best ball when it counts the most.
Now after back-to-back violations, McMeekin is back in there against Constantinides. And McMeekin wants to right the ship, but Constantinides isn't going to let him do it. He'll take a shot, almost got it off. Thought he was going to go right to the doorstep, Clark, but he's able to keep possession. That's important.
Yeah, Towson got lucky there. You have to give him an outlet and demand the ball in that spot. Constantinides has had a phenomenal career. All-time leader in face-off wins, ground balls, but he's not the offensive type of player of a McMeekin, or who we saw last week up at Ithaca with Cascadden from Cornell, who has got 9 goals on the season. He needs help in terms of an outlet, an attackman demanding the ball.
It's a nice move by Boswell to get it back into his left hand. Give himself a little bit of a better angle, just missed the target.
Hey, let's get up for the D here, boys. Mirror, drift.
Weishar, the quickness. Trying to get it back into his left, but Molshine is having none of it. Now he does. Saved by Croddick. Here comes Green. Now Coulter Mackesy will slow things up a little bit, allow his defenders to check out. And Palumbo and Bonanno to come on in alongside Tucker Wade. Bonanno. Kabiri got his defender hung up again, so he's looking for a cutter. Palumbo. You can see the help coming. He loses it, gets it back. Beautiful pass to Kabiri on the far side, and he buries it. Palumbo turned a near disaster into magic.
Cotter, follow me here. You'd think this is Mackesy's spot, but what Jim Mitchell does a lot of times is he flips Mackesy and Kabiri. This is a natural spot for a lefty because of the increased angle, but it doesn't matter when you're that big of a sharpshooter. Nate Kabiri is taking this game over with his shooting ability. It's been absolutely tremendous with a stroke that is a thing of beauty. But by putting these guys on different sides, what it allows them to do is when they catch the ball too, they can go down the alley with the stick to their outside. So Mackesy, when he's flipped to the left, sometimes he can dodge down the alley lefty with the stick to his outside. And Kabiri, if he catches that high enough, he goes down the alley with his right hand, with the stick to the outside of the defender. So it's a flop in Jim Mitchell's system.
McMeekin wins yet another one, and Princeton keeps possession, so they can be a little bit more deliberate on the offensive end here midway through this third quarter. Bonanno with the receiving the over-the-shoulder pass, couldn't do anything with it, but Mackesy tracks it down.
Yep, that's the slickness, right? The BTBs. I think of Princeton and Syracuse as two of the slicker teams in the country in terms of that type of play. The two-man game, the slips, and the BTBs.
Look at this shot from Burns. Look where this thing ends up. Near side corner.
This is a shooting clinic. This is an absolute shooting clinic by the boys in white. Kabiri, one after another. His high school teammate, Colin Burns, they pounding the opposite corner on Downs, the righty. And then it's the flip of the offensive set. Let's put Kabiri on the other side, but guess what? Same old, same old. And it's not just Kabiri. This is a team in the first half. Started off 5 for 15 shooting at 33%. Since then, Cotter, 11 for 13, 84%. You let them get their hands free and set their feet, it's night-night.
You saw the numbers for Kabiri and Wade. Throw in Burns and Mackesy with shooting virtuoso performances. And the lead is back up to 6 for Princeton midway through this third quarter. Princeton wanted a hold, the fans didn't get it, but McMeekin gets possession anyways. Now the hold is gonna go against Princeton. Towson has done a great job all day long of stemming the tide. Just when it looked like the game was going to get completely out of hand, they went on at least a couple of goal run to keep within striking distance. They need to go on another one here. Weber backs into his defender. Now Chop Gallagher. Weishart couldn't handle it. He gives chase and tracks it down.
Here we go! Here we go, D!
He tries to shovel it by Croddick, can't do it, but Fitzpatrick was there, couldn't pick up the GB though. Physical play in the defensive end, picked up by Spies now.
It's the right intent of Towson to move Weishar around. Saw him score earlier in the quarter, coming from up top and sweeping, this time behind the cage. There's so much pressure in terms of generating offense between 1 in black and 29 in black. Fitzpatrick and Weishar are being asked to create most of the offense from a dodging perspective. And it looks like Princeton's on red alert when 1 has the ball, but 29 has found seams, the young freshman Fitzpatrick.
Palumbo shovels it inside. Bonanno didn't have much of an angle, so he takes it back out. Draws a slide. Mackesy coming upfield.
There's the pick.
Uses a Burns pick. Now gets it back to Burns. The one extra pass. Downs was there for the save.
That is gorgeous offense, though. So Mackesy uses the pick. They switch, and they're late to cover the pick man, who's Burns. And then Burns catches it, and then the one more. Just unfortunate.
Moore lets it fly. The bouncer. Croddick gets enough of it. Loose ball in front. Weishauer was able to grab it. They'll get a fresh 80-second shot clock. Not that either one of these teams has needed the full 80 seconds today.
No.
Here we go, D!
Don't forget, we've got Colgate and Penn State coming up next on ESPN2. After this game, Clark and I will be on our way to the airport. We got Notre Dame and Ohio State on ESPN2 tomorrow at noon.
That is going to be an absolute banger.
Those two teams met earlier in the year. Ohio State got a last-minute goal from O'Leary to win the game in South Bend. So you know the Irish, two-time defending national champs, are going to be looking for a little revenge.
Yep, against Big Ten regular season and tourney champs. Ohio State is the definition of a team right now. Started the season losing to Utah, turned it around. 1 loss in the regular season was just Maryland. They avenged that loss in the conference championship.
A lot of winning going on, you know.
Yes.
Myers, a lot of celebrating, but yet there's a bigger picture out there, and that's a potential trip to championship weekend in Foxborough. Got to get by the two-time defending champs first, though. That's a great look. Unfortunately, Schreier couldn't squeeze it.
And there's something bigger also in Ohio State. It's called the Big Tasty. Leads the nation in save percentage.
Fyock in goal.
296 pounds. Rapid fire hands. Here's the thing that's crazy about the Big Tasty. If the season ended right now, this is the best save percentage of a goalie since 2022.
Right, his numbers have been ridiculous, and he's done it all year. This is trouble right here, and it's going to be a goal. Princeton broke down. Towson on their clear, and Burns, it was easy sailing. He beats Downs, and you get the feeling here, Clark, with the lead up to 7, the largest of the day for Princeton on their home field with this home crowd. They're starting to taste it late in the third quarter.
Burns does a fantastic job knowing that his defender is trying to stop the ball on the clear, and then he backdoors at the same time. Burns is one of those underrated players. You look at his number, he's 3rd on the team in points coming into this afternoon, but he's balanced too. 24 goals, 16 assists heading into today. You add the 4, he's up to 28. That's a quiet, good 4 by Colin Burns, because you don't see like these flamethrowers like a Kabiri or Mackesy. He's steady Eddie. Does everything very technically sound. And that's what you want, right? You got all these flamethrowers. You don't need 6 flamethrowers. If you have 1 on each side in Kabiri and Mackesy, well, let's find a Dodger in Tucker Wade. Got it. Let's find a guy who could play behind the cage and pass or play crease. Colin Burns. Got it. You got these guys with firecracker feet, and Cameron with the ball, and Dunphy.
Right. You got a guy like Palumbo, a box kind of guy.
Yes, so they have a little bit of everything. This offense is Whatever your taste buds, we got you.
I think that's what it is when you look at both them and Cornell that we had in the IV tournament. Both of those teams have every little thing you could possibly want on offense, and it meshes and fits together perfectly. Here's Burns. Going to give away to Cameron, who inverts. So he's going against the shorty from X. Mackessy's bouncer didn't get enough on that as he would like. Still 18 to shoot for Princeton. Inside of 3 minutes to play in this third quarter. Burns loses his footing, now gets back up. Once again, Cameron on the shorty. It's forced out GLE. Nice job defensively.
Yeah, that's good aggressive D.
With 1 second left, it'll be
Ben Ellis.
Towson ball. Yeah, nice
Junkyard
job.
dogging it. This is going to be tough for Towson because of the discrepancy at the face-off X, right? You're down 7, but can you go on runs? Oh, when you're not clearing the ball like that.
That doesn't help either.
Or you're not winning face-offs, right? So they were clean in the first half. Princeton wasn't. Princeton cleans it up. Towson starts getting sloppy, and tie games become 7-goal spreads.
Palumbo gets under his defender and scores.
He's been quiet, right?
Yeah. Now it's like the good old-fashioned turkey shoot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they're feasting.
This is what I love about Palumbo. And Cotter, you mentioned, like, that's a typical box lacrosse goal, right? Little face dodge underneath. Not even have to put the stick in your opposite hand because of how quick the release is off of that face dodge. Like, if you have an elongated shooting stroke off that face dodge, you're going to get trail checked, but it's so snappy off of the shoulder and the ear of Chad Palumbo.
And Princeton has completely wrested control of this game from Towson here in the late going in the third quarter. (18-10) is our score. McMeekin, he just continues his domination, although this is what we saw a lot in the first half. Fortunately for Princeton, it's able to be tracked down by Friedman. So they keep possession and can run a little bit more of this clock off now with a commanding 8-goal lead.
You know, I think when you look at this Princeton team, we're giving so much props to the offense. Their defense has really figured it out. When they struggled in spots earlier in the season, they were clean the most of the second half, other than that Cornell game when they let up 20 last week, but this team's figuring it out.
That guy's figured it out all game long, and it continues late in the going here in the third. Yet another one for Tucker Wade. And that's the most goals given up by Towson this season, and we haven't even gotten to the fourth quarter yet.
Tucker Wade with his 5th of the day. We saw him earlier in the afternoon winning his matchup. Now he's spraying from deep. Mackessy, the dime of a pass. You see, Towson is pretty tight, right? They're pretty tight, and they want to support the Dodger in that matchup, right? Give your defender help when he's being dodged from a one-on-one perspective. The issue is when you sink in and you support from inside out, the outside shooters for Princeton, they're not your average Joes.
Miles Quant on the face-off that time for Towson. A little too quick on the whistle. Went to high school with his dad and his uncle.
They must have stories about you.
I got stories about them. Good to see Miles Out of the Atlanta area, getting some run here today.
It's a great hotbed right now. I mean, you look at Atlanta lacrosse and the representation of players in the field, right? Maryland, you have guys like Braden Urksa, Eric Maliver from Duke, Fisher Finley from Notre Dame. There's a lot.
A lot of public school guys, too, in the Atlanta area, north side. Good to see that. Dunphy, look at that. Dodge. Mackesy unloads it wide. Final 8 seconds here this third. Cameron, final few seconds. He'll get a look, and he'll score!
It's like these offensive players watch one guy hit a corner and they say to themselves, oh, you think you're the only guy who could do that? Started with Coulter Mackesy when he got the record 164th goal, all-time leading goal scorer Princeton history. Then Kabiri started hammering corners. Colin Burns, and now Cameron. They're just painting corners. The accuracy, and I mentioned how they started the game in the first half shooting 33%, and then late in the second quarter into this third quarter, they're shooting well over 80%.
And now we see Kobe Ginder at the face-off dot. Won by Constantinides as the horn sounds.
Give me Cologan! Oh, give
Excuse
me!
We can do that for you.
What, no battle?
Nope. Just a prescription.
Victory!
Cologuard is an effective and non-invasive colon cancer screening test. False positive and negative results may occur. Those at high risk should use colonoscopy. Skip the drama. Ask your provider or request Cologuard online.
Heading to Happy Valley next on ESPN2. Matt Trainer and the Nittany Lions taking on Colgate. You and I, it's not that far from where we are right now. You and I have made that drive.
Yes.
At night, in the fog. We were like Pee Wee Herman driving around the spaghetti roads.
Tell him Large Marge sent you.
Trying to stay on the road. Take a look at the bracket on the upper side. Richmond with the upset win already today at North Carolina. The Spiders advance. Penn State and Colgate, one of those teams, will join them. And they will head to Annapolis next Sunday, whereas Richmond goes to Hempstead on Saturday.
In this next game, when you watch Matt Trainer, he shoots like one of these Princeton guys, like high velocity, sweet shooting stroke, effortless, and just hammers corners too. That's what you're seeing in today's day and age, man. These guys are so skilled. It's not just the way they shoot, it's the multiple release points too. They're very unpredictable in terms of where the ball's being released from, where it's going, and we've seen that all afternoon. So buckle up and watch Matt Trainer, and if you're a Colgate fan, you have the Connor brothers.
They are one of the hottest teams in all of college lacrosse, entering in this tournament with what they did in the Patriot League last week. Very impressive, great catch. Whoever made the catch, keep it alive. Fitzpatrick.
He's coming back, he wants his left.
Tried to question mark it, but didn't get there. Now the help comes over the shoulder. Man, that was lightning quick.
He's got game.
To your point in the first half, he's so patient. He waits for his moment.
It's so hard for young players to do that. Like, everyone thinks the quicker move always wins. Sometimes no move wins. And what I mean by that is you force a defender to get really antsy and start chopping and pushing out. And then you win the leverage game because you counter the pressure. And that's what a young player like Ronan Fitzpatrick has figured out at such a young age, right? That's a high-level skill to have the patience not to make a move sometimes.
On that particular possession, the double team came, and he waited right to the last second before he knew he had to unleash the shot. Coach Madelon going to his bench here in the fourth quarter with the 10-goal advantage. Man, pretty amazing that Carson Kramer was able to keep possession that time, 21 in white.
He's a monster. 6'5", 245. Kirkland, Washington. Played on the second midfield a bunch this year.
Kabiri plays on the first attack line, and he shows you why there. That's 5 on the day, matching Wade's 5. Leading goal scorers for Princeton.
Watch this move. Watch how he extends his arms out and then shoots all in one. A lot of times, players need to cock back to get that shot off. Kabiri comes up, goal line extended on the right side. And as he steps away from the pressure of the defender, he takes his stick upfield with him. That's a hard thing to do because you need a lot of power with your wrist because it's all top hand when you score.
Constantinides wins the faceoff, gets it to Weishar. Quickly to Schreier.
I like the shorties for Princeton too, from an athletic perspective, and how they flush out and can start transition. Jackson Peters, we saw do it today. Cooper Miller, we saw it today. They have elite speed in the middle of the field. There's a look at Peters right there.
Boswell swims it back to his left. Vieni with a nice catch. Fitzpatrick backing up, 28 seconds, still on the shot clock for Towson.
Well, Jackson Green is one of those two-sport athletes, playing football in college, playing lacrosse, and then dealing with the academics at Princeton. 4 and white he's a stud.
Weishar finds the far post.
We're talking a lot about these seniors who are going off to the PLL and were drafted this past Tuesday. I think Mikey Weishar will be a first-round draft pick next year in the PLL. He's got versatility, he's got speed, he's played attack, he's played midfield, and the biggest thing is every time he's stepped on the field, he's demanded the opposing team's top defender. 8th nationally in goals per game.
Loose ball hold against Princeton. Maurer almost lost it, gets it back. Weishar.
Yeah, he's not backing down.
Skipped it to Weber. Beautiful anticipation that time. That's Bath.
I saw Michael Bath when he was in high school. Quint and I were down at Naptown. We knew he was a Princeton commit after his junior year, and we watched him roam in the middle of the field and making plays like that. Like, his stick has timing to pick off passes. That's an art. You know, Petro, 40 in black, is one of those guys for Towson too. Just knows where to find passing lanes and doesn't even just knock them down, can catch them on the fly.
Dunphy. Back to Burns. Far side to Kabiri. Princeton swings it around. Cameron on the run. Scores. That goal ties the most goals scored in an NCAA tournament game by Princeton.
Cotter, since the 5:35 mark of the second quarter, Princeton is shooting 17 for 20. That is remarkable. What I love about Cameron's shot on the run lefty is he's a natural right-handed player. You saw him time and room in the third quarter with 1 second left, pop a corner. And this time he does it lefty on the run. You talk about shooting versatility of Kabiri and guys like Burns. Well, add Cameron to the mix.
And you're seeing a Towson team defensively, Kark, I think is a little worn out here in this fourth quarter. They've been chasing around these Princeton Tigers all game long.
They don't have the depth of Princeton. And right now, if you're Syracuse or Harvard, the winner plays Princeton. You got to deal with this offense. At Hofstra, next week on Long Island, that place will be rocking. This crowd is sick. Next week will be jammed. If the weather is good, it will be a spectacle. And it would be the third matchup, if they play Harvard, of the year. And if it's Syracuse, it brings back those old championship, Titanic-type matchups late in May that the sport loved in the 90s and the 2000s. Like, those are the two teams who were going to championships more than any.
Yeah. And if you like the goals you're getting in this game, if it's Princeton and Syracuse, buckle up, because we're going to get a lot in that one, too, out on the island.
Yeah, Harvard could score as well. I mean, Harvard is...
That lights up the fans here for Towson. Some of their players are getting involved. Connor Sline finds the back of the net. Good to see these guys who practice all year long, Kark, backups, get a chance to play in an NCAA tournament game. And Connor will be able to talk about that goal he scored here against Princeton for the rest of his life.
Absolutely. His third of the season. He's played in 2 games. And credit Coach Nadalin, Sean Nadalin, for understanding, okay, this game has gotten away from us. These are the guys who grind every single day in practice. And our scout team players that take a beating. They're part of the fabric of the team. Props to Coach Nadalin, and props for Connor for slinging that one and making the most of an opportunity.
Face-off violation. And it'll be Princeton ball.
Everyone get loud! Get loud!
Turnover back to Towson. And Jake Vanna in the game. Got Michael Kelly coming in at D-Midi for the Tigers, Princeton Tigers, that is. Quinn Kramer. Saw his brother Carson, 21. Quinn, number 20. Chop Gallagher. Save made. Croddick's still in there for Princeton. You got to think he might be able to be replaced. Colin Vickery, the backup. Might see him in a little bit as we get close to this midway point of the fourth quarter.
Quinn Kramer's running around there, 20 and white at 6'2". You're like, he's kind of tiny compared to his brother, right?
Right.
Carson at 6'5". He's got the ball right now. He's a monster. He looks bigger than 6'5".
These guys from Kirkland, Washington, as you mentioned. Bodie Maurer from Towson, also from Kirkland, Washington.
It's great. We're going to see Gannon Matthews from Idaho tomorrow.
Yeah, Eagle, Idaho, just outside of Boise, plays for Ohio State.
That's the true, growing of the game, right? Like Idaho in an NCAA tournament play.
We're going to see some players from Nebraska tomorrow. I mean, there's all kinds of states that maybe you haven't seen a whole lot of lacrosse players at the D1 level come from. You're going to see them tomorrow.
And when this happens, it validates a young boy's dream, right? Like, if this guy could do it, I can.
Right.
So if you're a kid from Alabama, you see Anderson Moore, who's the starting goalie for Georgetown. You see him tonight in the nightcap against Duke. It can happen. Anderson started as a true freshman for Kevin Warren.
Yeah. It's the outside of the cage.
Like 15 years ago, if I said Alabama, Nebraska, Washington, Idaho in the NCAA tournament, you'd laugh at me.
Oregon. So many players from Oregon.
Oregon is like a hotbed. Yeah. I mean, Oregon started in 2013 when Peter Baum won the Tewaaraton from Colgate.
Illinois. Like, you see Notre Dame now getting kids from Illinois.
Yeah.
That's right in their backyard. I'm sure Corrigan's like, man, finally I'm able to recruit kids that can really contribute from the state of Illinois.
But when you start a pipeline like Peter Baum for Oregon, what he did was he inspired the next generation, the Ajax Zapatellos from Oregon, the Tucker Dordovics from Oregon, Sam Hanley from Oregon. Like those guys were young kids when Baum won the tour. NCAA tournament, you'd laugh at me.
Oregon, so many players from Oregon.
Oregon is like a hotbed. Yeah. I mean, Oregon started in 2013 when Peter Baum won the Tewaaraton from Colgate.
Illinois, like you see Notre Dame now getting kids from Illinois.
Yeah.
That's right in their backyard. I'm sure Corrigan's like, man, finally I'm able to recruit kids that can really contribute from the state of Illinois.
But when you start a pipeline like Peter Baum for Oregon, what he did was he inspired the next generation, the Ajax Zapatellos from Oregon, the Tucker Dordovics from Oregon, Sam Hanley from Oregon. Like those guys were young kids when Baum won the Tewaaraton.
Right. You get good coaches in those areas like Zilberti going to Atlanta and getting a lot of young kids to believe that they can be great.
Yep. And a Scott Ratliff who comes back home to Georgia.
The Pons brothers.
Young kids need validation. It's so hard to be the first. But if someone's done it before you, you know it can be done, and then you can chase your dream. So you give so much credit to those true trailblazers who are the first. But then the wave happens, and this is what the sport of lacrosse is all about. In the month of May, it's the most beautiful time of the year, not only outside, but for the sport of lacrosse too, because teams are chasing championships, but dreams are being established by the next generation.
Coaches empty their benches a little bit here. That's Dunphy. Still got Cameron on the far side. Slide comes. He's met by a long pull. Now to Saris again. Bonanno has really come on, this freshman, in the second half of the season. Save made. Nice job by Downs. Downs still hanging in there.
Downs has dealt with a tremendous amount of rubber.
Yes.
Let's go, goal!
Andrew Golt in the game now for Towson. Going against Michael Kelly, short stick. Trying to work his way to the middle of the field. Loses his footing. Weishar. Still on with Molshine and Walshar taking the shot on the run. Too high.
Craddock's still in there.
Right.
Which is surprising.
Downs is too. Both starting goaltenders are still in the game.
Craddock's seen a little bit less rubber.
Yep. And you have an entire week off before you play next. So you can recover a little bit. It's not like conference tournament time when you're playing 2 and sometimes 3 games in a short stretch.
Molshine's still on Weishauer.
Yes.
He's saying, well, as long as you're in the game, I'm in the game. Colin Molshine has had a spectacular career, multi-time All-Ivy player. Was picked up as a free agent by the Boston Cannons, so he'll go to camp with Brian Holman and fight for a spot. Interesting young man, too. 3.8 GPA at Princeton. He's a DJ on the side, too.
Have you heard any of his work?
I haven't, but I've talked to the guys, and they say he brings the heat. Like he's a real DJ.
I would respect your ability to critique a DJ.
Yes.
Kesnick, not so much. Kesnick, the bagpipes and the band, the pep band, yes, maybe. I'll give him that.
Saying because I'm Italian and I'm from New York, I know DJs? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but you talk to the players on the team and even some of the alum, like John Hess. He's a legend on that three-peat, 96, 97, 98. Lives in the same general area as Molshine. He's like, you gotta look this guy up as a DJ. Yep.
Some of the clubs here around Princeton. I don't know if you get too many clubs around Princeton. Beautiful passing. Oh my goodness. Morin would have had it great behind the back. Hadn't even been able to bury that one. Colin Vickery has taken over in net for Princeton. So Ryan Croddick's day is over as we get the call from our official. Slashing call going to go against Princeton.
Vickery was a big recruit out of the Culver Academy.
There he is.
Top-rated goalie in his class. I'm just so excited for next week. Whether it's Syracuse and we go back in time and recapture those epic May battles between Syracuse and Princeton, or if it's Harvard in the third matchup.
Yeah, the trilogy of the year between those two Ivy League schools.
Princeton won the first two, but they were close games.
Yep.
Especially in the fourth quarter. I mean, Harvard will give them everything that they could handle.
And in that last game in the semifinals of the Ivy League tournament, Sam King really didn't do much for Harvard. So you got to expect that's not going to continue again.
Who guarded him? Colin Molshine. Colin Molshine held Sam King in 2 games to 1 goal and 2 assists combined in 2 games. And Sam King was one of the most prolific scorers in the country. Molshine basically erased him.
So we'll see that tomorrow. That's one of our 4 games in first round action on Sunday. Just a reminder, coming up next in just about 10 minutes time, tune into the ESPN2. That's Colgate at Penn State. The nightcap will be on ESPNU. That'll be Georgetown at Duke. That should be a pretty good one.
Oh yeah, Colgate Penn State could be high scoring. Duke Georgetown, an interesting storyline too. Vickery, whoa.
Saves. How about that? Cold off the bench.
Yeah, that's not easy. No warm-up. You go out there. This Princeton faithful knows a thing or two about great goaltending. They've had some legendary ones. Started in the early 90s in their first national championship with Scott Bacigalupo, 3-time goalie of the year. Trevor Tierney was a national goaltender of the year. They know goaltending.
Vickery has 3 saves to his credit. Those last 2, man down. Now we're at full strength, final 2 minutes of this contest.
But tonight, what will be interesting, Duke and Georgetown.
That could be a slugfest right on the doorstep. Vickery with another save. 4 saves.
Wow, this guy. Who needs a warm-up?
What an afternoon.
23.
Only been in the game for a couple of minutes and he's already making his mark.
Duke Georgetown coach Kevin Warren played for John Danowski when he was at Hofstra. So it's former player against coach. And Kevin Warren's won 7 straight Big East championships for the Hoyas. They've lived in the quarterfinals. They've been really good in round 1, but getting the championship weekend has been
it's been a hill too high to climb.
It's been their Achilles heel. They went to championship weekend in 1999. That was the last time the Hoyas have been so close. I mean, how many times have we seen Georgetown in the quarterfinals?
Yep. We've done a lot of their games. I feel like we've done their first round games in each of the last 3 years. Final minute of this contest. Towson hung in there early. Made a game of it, but it was just too much execution on the offensive end for Princeton. And their sharpshooters really came to the fore in the second half, and they stopped shooting themselves in the foot, and that was really the big story.
Yep, they cleaned up their clearing, and then they went on a shooting spree, like flipping the script. Couldn't hit the cage in the first quarter, and then they went over 80% shooting the ball in the last 2.5 quarters.
Going to get an offside call. Going to go against Towson here in the final few seconds. Crowd on their feet. here in Class of 1952 Stadium in Princeton. Their Tigers get the win over the Tigers from Towson and advance to next weekend's quarterfinal, where they will head to Hempstead, New York, to take on the winner of Syracuse and Harvard.